Welcome to the Oakleaf Sports Report. I'm your host, Sean Dougherty, and as always, it is my pleasure to bring to you everything you need to know in the world of Bear Cub athletics. It's been a great fall semester of Bear Cub sports action, and with the exception of wrestling and basketball, all of the other fall sports seasons are over. But here at the Oakleaf Sports Report, we're still dedicated to bringing you the very best of Bear Cub sports. On today's show, we're going to have on Dimitri Nazarian, the Oakleaf Soccer Insider, here to talk about the women's soccer team and give us a statistical insight to the Bear Cub season. Also, Tracy Hamm, the head coach of the Bear Cub women's soccer team, is also here to talk about her first season as head coach of the Bear Cubs. But before that, let's get you caught up on what's happening in the remaining fall sports. First, let's take a look at what's happening with the wrestling team, who this past week competed in the North Regional Tournament, which took place at Delta College in Stockton Friday and Saturday. The Bear Cubs, as a team, finished in 4th place out of the 10 teams who competed in the North Regionals. And as a result of their hard work and dedication, 8 members of the wrestling team will head to the state championship tournament in Lemoore this weekend to try to bring home some hardware for the trophy case. Let's get you caught up on what happened during the tournament. Starting in the 125-pound weight class, Andres Torres finished in 2nd place. Andrew Wolochuk finished in 8th place in the 141-pound weight class. Ishi Silva took 5th place in his weight class. Blake Burgess grabbed 3rd place honors in the 149-pound weight class, while Eric Figueroa finished in 5th place in the 157-pound weight class. Caden Martin also finished in 5th place in the 165-pound weight class. And Greg Robinson also finished in 5th place in the 174 class. Ashton Morales finished 8th place in the 184-pound weight class, and Otillo Carrillo took 7th place honors in the 197-pound class. Finally, the big boys, the 285-pound class, Bud Ginn finished in 3rd place, and as a culmination, the Bear Cubs, as I said, finished in 4th place, scoring at 94.5 points. That was behind Fresno, who won the event at 180.5 points. 2nd place went to Sac City at an even 141, and Sierra at 126. The state championships will be in Lemoore at West Hills College starting this Friday at 10 a.m. We all know how good the Bear Cub volleyball team has been this season. And in the 3rd round of the playoffs, the Bear Cubs would face off against second-ranked team in Northern California, Feather River City College, who were the last team to beat the Bear Cubs this season. And in this highly anticipated rematch of these two powerhouse teams, the Bear Cubs would win in 3 very close sets, 25-22, 25-23, and 25-21, to advance to the state championships. With that win, the Bear Cubs extended their win streak to 20 games. And during that 20-game win streak, the Bear Cubs have only lost 3 sets, which is absolutely remarkable. The Bear Cubs at the state championships would face Southern California's #1 team and the state's top-ranked team, LA Pierce Community College, who were undefeated during the season at a 30-0 record. They were also looking for the 3rd straight state title. The Bear Cubs came out strong and played their best, and in the first set lost a very tight one, 25-23. Then in the second set, another close one, LA Pierce edged the Bear Cubs 25-21. The Bear Cubs were facing elimination in that 3rd set, and unfortunately were eliminated 25-22 to end the Bear Cubs' dream of winning the state championship. 2 players who deserve to be recognized for their play were Olivia Urban, who led the Bear Cubs with 10 kills, and Kiana Cassidy, who finished with 24 assists. The other game from the tournament had Fresno City College, Northern California's top-ranked team, going against Golden West, Southern California's second-ranked team. And Golden West would sweep Fresno City College in 3 sets, and that would set up the Bear Cubs playing Fresno City to see who would play the loser of Golden West and LA Pierce. The Bear Cubs seemed to be a little upset after that loss to LA Pierce and took it out on Fresno City College, demolishing Fresno in 3 sets by the scores of 25-16, 25-12, and finally 25-21. LA Pierce would defeat Golden West to win their 3rd straight state championship. So the Bear Cubs would face Golden West to determine who would be the second-ranked team in the state of California. Unfortunately, Golden West had the Bear Cubs number and beat the Bear Cubs in 3 sets to grab the number 2 spot in the state rankings. Though the official rankings are not out yet, only Pierce, who will be number 1. We know that because they won the state championship. Golden West appears to be number 2. Our Bear Cubs are number 3. The Oakleaf Sports Report wants to congratulate Kelly Wood and the rest of the Bear Cub volleyball team on a great season. And the good news is, for the Bear Cubs, they have a lot of these players returning next season. The men's basketball team started out the season 4-2 after competing in the San Francisco City College Tournament and in the Fresno City Tournament. And this past weekend, the boys would travel to Monterey to compete in the Monterey Peninsula Tournament. Our boys would face off against West Valley in their first game, and unfortunately they lost 75-68 in overtime. Then in the second game, the Bear Cubs would face a tough Hartnell College team who played the Bear Cubs extremely tight, but the Bear Cubs managed to get the win 56-54. After those first 2 games, the Bear Cubs were through playing around, and it showed when they crushed Monterey Peninsula 60-43 in their final game at the tournament. Up next, the Bear Cubs are on the road again as they travel all the way down to Riverside for the Riverside City Tournament. That starts Wednesday, December 5th and goes through the 8th. The Riverside City Tournament will be the last of the road tournaments before the Bear Cubs host the Kris Kringle Tournament here at Hale Pavilion, December 20th through December 22nd. The Bear Cub record stands at a very nice 6-3. The women's basketball team traveled to Visalia for the College of the Sequoias tournament. The Bear Cubs would draw Antelope Valley for their first game of the tournament, and the Bear Cubs would go on and win this game 64-59 in overtime. Then the Bear Cubs had a little bit of a setback against Mount Sac, where they lost by 22 points, 61-39. But the Bear Cubs would get back on track as they would beat Cerrito 68-59. That win was short-lived as the final game the Bear Cubs would face Ventura and lose by 6, 56-50. The Bear Cub record still stands at a very impressive 6-2. And now the Bear Cub Nation and all the basketball fans out there, get ready for this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as your Bear Cub women's basketball team hosts the Karen Franchi Invitational Basketball Tournament. Game times on Thursday and Friday are 2, 4, 6, and 8 p.m. And game times on Saturday are 2, 4, and the championship game is at 6 p.m. The Bear Cubs are the defending Big 8 Conference champions. A tournament pass can be purchased for the entire 11 games, and tickets can be purchased at the door. Daily admission fee for adults is $6, $4 for students with ASB card for other colleges, $2 for seniors 65 and over, and children 12 and under. SRJC students with an ASP Plus card are free, and the session pass are $20. Here to give us an in-depth look at the Bear Cub women's soccer team is Oakleaf insider Dimitri Nazarian. Dimitri, let us know, how did this team, we already know that they won the Big 8 championship. Give us a little in-depth information of what happened with the Bear Cubs this season.
Thanks, Sean. The SRJC women's soccer season ended in a heart-wrenching style with a 8-7 penalty shootout against American River College. The pitch was covered in rain from beginning to end on Tuesday, November 20th, and it was nearly dark by the end. And despite taking 12 shots on goal, the Bear Cubs could not come up with a win in regulation.
For those who don't know soccer that well, what is the pitch?
The pitch is the actual field that they play on. So after regulation, it was tied. They went into two 15-minute overtime halves, and then they headed to penalty shootouts with the score still 0-0. Unfortunately, they could not come up with enough to beat enough goals as American River College got the win 8-7 in penalties, despite beating American River College 1-0 and 2-0 during the regular season. I just want to say congratulations to the 2012 Big 8 champions on a great season. Now, let's look back at the accomplishments of some of these young women.
Absolutely.
They had 46 goals, 39 assists, and a 575 shot percentage. Their overall record was 15-4-2 with a win percentage of .785 and a conference record of 11-1-2. The women's team dominated during the regular season, and the stats are all there to prove it, Sean.
That's true.
Yeah, they had goals from 13 different players, which is a sign of how well these group of women were able to work together to succeed.
Give us some of the individual statistics from the leaders of the Big 8 conference champions.
Of course, we'll start off with Holly Zapina. She led the team with goals, posting 12, had 2 assists and 26 points, good for second place on the team in points. Carly Rodriguez had 9 goals, 13 assists, and 31 points. She was the points leader.
And unfortunately, as we'll hear later, they lost her the game before the elimination game against American River.
It was a hard fall. I was at the game, watched her. It was like literally 5 feet away from me when she was tackled, and it fell to the ground, and it was unfortunate she couldn't come back.
Devastating.
Let's turn now to the woman between the sticks, Ashley Lewis. She came up with 80 saves, which actually led the Big 8 conference and the state. Pretty impressive. She had a save percentage of 94.7, and they only allowed 4 goals the entire season. 4 goals.
That's
over 20 games.
Wow.
It's quite an accomplishment.
Impressive. Thank you, Dimitri. Here to go a little deeper into the women's soccer team is head coach of your SRJC Bear Cubs, Tracy Hamm. Tracy, thank you so much for joining me again on the show. Your second visit here to the Oakleaf Sports Report. First season, all over with, ended on not the best of notes, but what did your first season here teach you? What did you learn from it?
Oh man, it's a loaded question. I think you learn something new every day and every season, but I think that first and foremost that it's a long season, and that staying healthy and staying committed and really trying to create an environment on the field and off the field that has longevity. And what I mean by that is, every single day having to get better and having them work towards something, and just, we had a really great season. And so, when you win a lot of games, you can get complacent. And I think that, I just learned a lot from the players and their reactions to things and how practices went, and making sure to change and basically keep re-energizing them to keep moving forward and, have a successful season. Even though it didn't end exactly the way we wanted, it was still a great season.
It was a successful season. You in your first year here, winning the Big 8 championship is quite an accomplishment, and congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that. How did you feel about this season? I know coming in, there was a lot of unknowns, but what did this season, not to sound redundant, but what did this season, what did you learn from it the most out of your players, out of the school, or yourself as a coach?
this was the most fun I've ever had doing anything, and I keep telling everybody that. And I was just at the state Final Four, which was hard to be there, but everyone's like, how'd you enjoy your first season? And I just told everyone, this is, honestly, it's the most fun I've ever had doing anything, ever. And, I think just, again, like learning, what did I learn? What did I take away from it was, just that there's so much more than just soccer and wins and losses, and that the girls and the players, this isn't where they're going to be forever, and I don't want them to end up here. And just, trying to find a connection in a way to communicate with them that really help them move forward with their lives and transition to their next phase. Soccer is just a piece of it, and I think that I just learned the most trying to connect with all of them on an individual level and finding out things that they enjoyed outside of soccer, and what did they do in the classroom, and how does that applicable to what they're going to be able to do at the next stage, because this is 3.5 months of their life, of a very long, prosperous, hopefully for them, life. And I just, I think that that's what I took away from it the most, was like, how can I have the lessons learned on the soccer field translate to their life off the field?
So are you saying that this was more fun than playing in the Final Four when you were at Cal?
We didn't make it to the Final Four. We made a Sweet 16.
Or coaching in the Final Four.
We didn't make it there either.
Oh,
Yeah.
my information was
No,
wrong.
never made it to the Final Four. But I like my 4 years at Cal were obviously awesome. This was a lot different experience being in a coaching role at a collegiate program, but it was different. I can't even really compare the two. But I had so much fun just being with the team and helping them move on. So, it was just a kind of an unselfish time for me, which felt great and rewarding. So,
Let's go to the playoffs.
Sure.
You guys started the playoffs very well, and then you ran into American River, which on paper you guys should have beat. You guys were beat them twice in the regular season, once here, one on their grounds. Shut them out both times. I want to ask you, how did the loss of Carly Rodriguez factor into your loss against American River, if it did? And what could you guys have done different to brought home a victory in that game?
I mean, losing Carly was like a huge piece for sure, because she, was not our leading goal scorer, but pretty close, and our leading assist player. And, she actually is the Big 8 Conference Player of the Year. So she was obviously a huge component to our team. But, I think when she hurt herself, I was talking with my staff, and we just said this could either be the best thing or the worst thing, and I think, honestly, not that it ended up being, the best thing, but our team really rallied, and everybody stood up, stepped up, and I thought we played really well, and we had 11 corner kicks and 9 set pieces from 30 yards out. That's unheard of. We hit the post 3 times. We still shut AR out again for the 3rd time. We just couldn't finish, and unfortunately, soccer, it's the nature of the game, and that happens. The best team doesn't always win, and obviously we could have used Carly, but I thought everyone did a great job, and everyone, we taped our wrists and wrote number 6, and everyone rallied around it, and they all wanted to win it for her. So I think that we did everything we could, short of finishing our 25 chances.
Right.
So it's just, that happens though, part of soccer.
When you go into a game like that, does your coaching strategy change from, say, a regular season game?
It could, for sure. It depends, if we'd gone up a goal, would we have, ever come over half line again, or just kept ripping long balls down the field? Maybe. That's kind of one of those things where it would change. Our strategy definitely changed losing Carly. We put one of our center backs up top, just because, she had similar speed and composure on the ball, and kind of moved some people around, and played the same formation. We didn't need to change everything, because I think that we probably could have beat them. Another 15-minute overtime could have gone either way, but you have to adapt and change to what's being thrown at you. But we kind of stuck with our game plan, because again, our back line was really successful with shutouts. We were just missing our attacking player, and everyone else stepped up. We just couldn't finish. So.
You guys had a really impressive statistical season. And I was very curious, especially with the shutout run that you guys had. What contributed to that? What was the I guess the X factor, if you want to call it that led to such a great statistical season?
I would say that hands down our level of fitness was a lot better than other teams, which allowed us to defend for 90 minutes. And there's a lot of goals that come in the second half of games when teams start to get tired. And I think that for the most part we played the first minute the same way we played the 90th minute every game, and we played very high pressure. Our forwards, our back line started with our forwards. They put their back line under a lot of pressure, and we didn't really give up many chances. And I think obviously having a keeper that only gave up 4 goals the entire season is probably what I would call an X factor for sure.
Absolutely.
She, I think we had 15 shutouts on the season, and we were only, San Diego Canyon and LA had 16, and that's it. That's the only team that had more than us. So, and they made it to the state final. But, I think just being disciplined and them all knowing what their role was and playing high pressure and being able to maintain a level of fitness, and
You're going to lose some players from this year to next year.
Yeah.
You can't say all of them.
Right.
But which player which player is going to have the biggest impact on you guys?
I would say our goalkeeper. And we have another goalkeeper, that was here and played some minutes, and she just needs a little bit more confidence. But women's soccer, I think the most important position on the field is goalkeeping, and because there's just not that many great ones. So when you find a great one, it makes your season completely different. So
how would you, as a coach, how do you take a player that had, in this situation, one that needs more confidence, as a coach, how are you going to be able to instill that confidence into that player?
It depends. It varies for everybody. For Eilette, who's the goalkeeper, who'll be coming in, and along with whoever else shows up and I can recruit. It's a lot of praise, but it's a lot of just, them developing their own confidence. And I think a lot of confidence comes with being fit and healthy and, just making sure that they're prepared. I think the key to anybody being confident is feeling like they're prepared for what their role is going to be. And, we have 9 months to prepare her. And that starts with fitness, it starts with technique, and really just her buying into herself and believing in it. So,
So during the off season, how many players do you expect back from this current team? And then as far as recruiting goes, how are you going to go about recruiting from not only this area, but other areas as well?
We lose 11 players, so I have 16 players coming back, which is a big squad. And of the 16, there's 4 red shirts who are all very good players. 3 of them played last season, and they didn't play this season. And the other girls, a lot of them got significant playing time or were starters themselves. So we have a very good core group of girls coming back. In terms of recruiting, it's nice because we don't have a lot of competition with other JCs.
Right.
There's Napa and Mendocino, we're kind of close, but it's nice. I'm not involved in the club system up here, and that's a great way to recruit, but really just making contact with all the high school coaches and seeing what's available, because it's hard to say for seniors because they don't really know what their plans are if they get into, they won't know until March if they get into 4-year schools or whatever their plan is. So I think a lot of the recruiting will happen in the spring, and I'll start going to club practices and call people and see if I can invite myself out there.
Kind of an easy question. What was your favorite moment from this season? Our favorite game, favorite play, anything like, I know there's a lot to choose from.
Oh, I already know. Beating Sierra at home was hands down the best moment ever. just because that was such a hard game to lose, and we just didn't play well, and it was just kind of something that not only myself, but I think the team just wanted revenge, and we
Right.
couldn't wait. 3-0 at home and shut out, and that's a pretty dominant score. So that was a good one. That was a sweet win because that it didn't clinch first in conference for us, but we knew with a win that game that pretty much sealed the deal. So
They at the time, I believe you guys were third, and they were fifth at the time. They were trailing you
in the state, maybe
state-
in the state, yeah. In
rankings.
conference, I think we were tied at that time. So the first.
With having so many players coming back next season, what are your expectations going to be for next year?
To win state again.
Plain and simple.
That's it. Done. They know it. I know it. We're gonna be better next year. So it'll be nice, I think, just having a core group that already knows what I want, and the level's already been set, and there's a bar. And I think that there's definitely a bitter taste in some of their mouths, as there is mine.
Sure.
And so, I think that for them coming in, they already know what I want, and they know what the expectations are. So it's not going to be 27 players that are looking at me like, you want me to do what? You want me to run how fast? They already know. And so, and I also get an actual spring semester to get, recruits to come in to sign up for classes and those kinds of things, as opposed to getting here, 6 weeks before the season starts and just, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
So,
And that must have posed quite a challenge for you, not having that kind of time to, not only bond with your players, but with the community as well.
right.
It seems that you were able to get the team to buy into your system, which was extremely important as a coach. Switching a little bit from the sports life to personal, moving here and getting to know the area and stuff, how are you fitting into the Sonoma County way of life?
I feel like, it's only been a couple weeks. It's only been, I think, 2 weeks since season ended. So, I went home for a little bit for Thanksgiving, back to my parents' house in Moraga. But past, week and a half, I've actually had tons of paperwork, so I haven't really, done anything yet. I went wine tasting, though, last week. That was the first time I've done something in Sonoma County. But I love it. I love the weather, and I love the community, and, I like wearing my jacket around that says, women's soccer, and it's great community, and I live downtown, so it's, I kind of like that vibe, and it's just a really fun experience and area, and I'm so happy to be here.
Excellent, excellent. Well, you're definitely one of the coaches that fits the motto of Bear Cub pride, and I know that the school and the team are better for having you here.
Oh, thank you.
And once again, I want to say congratulations on a great first season here. Winning Big 8 championship is absolutely a feat, and quite an accomplishment, as well as under the circumstances in which you took over this team.
Thank you.
And
That's good.
thank you again
No problem.
for coming on the show,
Sure.
Twice, and we look forward to having you back on down the road when next year when the season picks back up. So
I'm excited. Can't wait.
absolutely.
Start
Thank you
planning
again.
for next year.
Absolutely. All right.
Cool.
Thank you for joining me, Sean Dougherty, for the Oakleaf Sports Report. Before we go, we want to say thank you to Oakleaf insider Dimitri Nazarian and head coach of your Bear Cubs women's soccer team, Tracy Hamm, for joining me on the show. As always, it is my pleasure to bring to you everything you need to know in the world of Bear Cub athletics. And remember, you can only win the games in which you play, so be sure you play the game. Go Bear Cubs.